This video is the third in a series I'm doing on having a great sex life during and after menopause. And today we're talking about vaginal dryness and how to treat it topically. So the best lubes, moisturizers, and what you need to know about topical hormones, and especially what ingredients to avoid to protect the delicate pH and healthy bacteria that need to be thriving on those delicate tissues to preserve your natural lubrication and elasticity. So stick around. Hi, I'm Dana LaVoie, an acupuncturist, an herbalist, and the founder of Menopause Basics. And I talk to women all the time who are suffering from vaginal dryness and the pain and discomfort that it can cause. Now, just so you know where I'm coming from, I'm a little bit of a purist, and I believe it's important to cultivate, not disrupt, the natural ecosystem of the vaginal area. But I also believe it's important that we do what's needed to feel good and have fun in this life. So let's talk about it and make a plan. First of all, what do I mean by the ecosystem of the vaginal area? It sounds a little hoity-toity or complicated, right? Well, it just means the delicately balanced pH and the microbiome of beneficial bacteria that keep the cells plump and make sure your natural lubrication is being produced as much as possible. So how the heck do we do this? Well, the first big step that we sometimes forget about is to avoid messing up and disrupting the good stuff that's happening naturally there in the first place, the pH and the microbiome. It's really important not to disrupt this, because if you do, this naturally moist area will dry out fast. So for external hygiene, you want to just turn it into love for this area to preserve its health. Here's what not to do. Do not use harsh, foaming, stripping soaps or cleansers. Instead, use only the gentlest of non-soap and non-stripping cleansers. Avoid chemical-laden, chlorine-bleached tampons or pads of any kind, even toilet paper that's been chlorine-bleached, because chemicals go straight up into the bloodstream through this thinnest of tissues. And these products are often perfumed with synthetic fragrances that have a really big disruptive impact on the hormones in the area because they often contain chemical xenoestrogens. I also recommend washing your underwear in laundry detergent free of artificial fragrances and harsh chemicals. I recommend you avoid douching. It's supposed to make you feel fresh, but it actually destroys the very powerful self-cleaning process that's already happening down there. If you pollute the area with chemicals, you're going to shut that natural process down. All right, so that's how not to mess up when you're getting clean. Now I want to talk about lube and moisturizer. There are basically 3 different kinds of products, including all the lubricants and moisturizers, 3 categories. And here's how to choose which one is right for you. The first type is silicone-based lubes. And I'll tell you right now, I don't like these. All of these synthetic lubricants contain chemicals that can irritate, dry, and inflame your delicate tissues. They're made from petrochemicals. So lube ingredients and types of lube in this category that you want to avoid will contain silicone, petroleum, and these are 2 totally man-made chemicals that have no place in body care. There is not a single cell on our body that longs for petrochemicals. So take a pass on the petroleum-based lubes. Moving on, the second category is water-based lubes. Now there's some great stuff in this category, and this category is condom safe. So it's very important to know how to use it properly, but there is also a lot you want to avoid here. Here's how it breaks down. First, water-based lubes need the most preservatives, so make sure to look for products that only contain food-grade preservatives like potassium sorbate and sodium benzoate or pure essential oils. I recommend avoiding most other preservatives, and be sure to avoid anything with the word paraben in it or phenoxyethanol. Second, avoid artificial fragrances and flavorings completely. These almost always contain the hormone-disrupting chemical phthalates. It won't be listed on the label, but it's probably in there. Also, avoid the chemicals chlorhexidine and propylene glycol. Third, now here is a tricky one. Avoid sugars and glycerin. It can also be called glycerol. Sugars because they disrupt the pH and microbiome and encourage the growth of the wrong organisms and can make you more susceptible to not only yeast but bacterial and viral infections. So it's easier for you to catch herpes, other STDs, to get yeast infections, to get HPV or HIV infections. So sugars. Now, glycerin, well, that sounds really nice, and it does create a moist feel when you apply it, but it does this by pulling moisture out of the surrounding cells. And this is because glycerin is high osmolality. What that means is the cells in the surrounding tissue have the moisture pulled out of them and they actually shrivel up and look like raisins. You can see this happen under a microscope. And the shriveled cells can then die and be exfoliated or sloughed off, leading to thinner, drier, less healthy tissue in the area overall. So you get short-term moisture and long-term dryness and damage to your tissues and a decrease in your natural lubrication. And the propylene glycol chemical I mentioned above also has the same very high osmolality. So when you want to use a water-based lubricant or moisturizer, here's what to look for. Look for something mostly made of aloe vera. This stuff is the perfect pH. It's slippery, it provides short and long-term moisture, and it restores the health of the tissues. So now finding one with lots of aloe without any of the artificial fragrances, glycerin, or preservatives that we don't want can be a challenge. But I found a couple of brands that work, and be sure to check out part 4 of this series where my guest expert talks more about the difference between lubes and moisturizer, the best frequency and technique for using those moisturizers, and more about the ingredients to look for and avoid and some of her favorite brands and applicators. But you can start with Aloe Cadabra, which is a favorite of my guest expert. She's going to talk more about it. It's aloecadabra.com and at local pharmacies. And I found another on the site mylola.com that has both lube and lubricated condoms that use this nice, friendly aloe-based lube. And of course, I do recommend looking for products that contain organic ingredients whenever you can, because pesticides are also hormone disrupting. Okay, so that's category 2, water-based, condom safe, look for mostly aloe, and avoid all the things that I listed above. And look below this video for sure for the links to the products that I was talking about. And the third, actually, if you want the full list of links that goes with this video, watch it on my blog if you're watching on YouTube right now. The third category of lubes and moisturizers are oil-based. So these have some of the best long-lasting slipperiness and the best short and long-term moisture-giving properties. But again, there are some things you need to know and some things to watch out for. Number 1, these oil-based lubes are not condom friendly and not condom safe, so don't use them with condoms. Some oils are great, some you want to avoid. My favorites are jojoba oil, virgin coconut oil, and raw cacao butter, which can be used alone or blended together, 2 or 3 together. And for extra benefit, add very diluted, very pure essential oils. And these can aid in cellular regeneration. Things like sea buckthorn berry or saw palmetto berry are great for the cells. You can add essential oils from flowers. Flowers are the sexual glands of plants. They're aromatic aphrodisiacs. These essential oils are antifungal, antibacterial, and antiviral without disrupting the naturally occurring bacteria in the area. And the high vibration of these smells ignite both local estrogen receptors and receptors in the brain to promote libido and your natural lubrication. So a lot of good things happening here. There are other oils you want to avoid. Definitely check out the next video in this series where my guest expert gives more information on nut oils and oils in your kitchen to use and not use. But to get started with oil-based lubes and moisturizer, you can go grab some coconut oil out of your kitchen and get started. If you want to go beyond that and use essential oils, please be very careful. They are of the highest quality and are properly diluted. And there is a woman named Nadine Artemis who's created a line line of vaginal moisturizers and lubricants that are like the ultimate expression of this combination of natural oils and pure essential oils, balanced for the pH and ecosystem of the vaginal area. And you can find her Petal Passion Yoni Serum, Love Lube, and Love Butters at livinglibations.com. Again, link in the comments below on my blog. So that covers the 3 types of lubricants: petroleum-based, water-based, and oil-based. Now let's talk about topical hormones. There are 2 categories here: over-the-counter and prescription. Now remember, some of the oil-based lubes and moisturizers above contain pure essential oils that will stimulate local estrogen receptors in a very natural and holistic way. But if you want to get more focused about this, there are now creams you can purchase over-the-counter that are meant to add hormones directly to the local tissue. One is the Amata cream, created by Dr. Christian Northrup, whom I love, which contains a powerful plant-based phytoestrogen, and the Julva cream, created by Dr. Annika Becka, whom I also love, which contains DHEA. Now, these each work for some women and may be worth trying if the more natural options, including using moisturizers correctly, as explained by my guest expert in the next video, are not enough for you. Then you want to look at the topical hormone creams. But I do find that both of these over-the-counter creams have either glycerin or sugars, not ingredients that I love in them. So, they can be a good option, but they're not my first go-to. There are also prescription creams that you can get through your local doctor that contain, or through your doctor, that contain estrogen that are applied topically and locally. So if you have very advanced dryness and loss of elasticity, which is called atrophy, you might want to consider these topical estrogens to get some relief. But I highly recommend following all these other recommendations for diet and lifestyle, right? Which was in the last video, for increasing your internal estrogen naturally, even after menopause, and for using moisturizers often enough and properly so that over time, your body's own lubrication can be reborn and start to work for you again. Because these hormone creams are often very effective, but I always say hormones alone, whether topically or taken internally, are never the whole answer. Not only will these creams likely contain some compromising ingredients, while you're using them, you also need to work from the inside out, protecting and strengthening the natural pH, the natural lubrication, and the ecosystem and health of the vaginal area. You really want to boost your internal hormonal balance and natural lubrication at the same time as you're using these hormone creams. The previous video in this series was how to use diet, lifestyle, and supplements to do this during and yes, after menopause. The first step is including certain important hormonal building blocks in your diet every day. This is the step 1 foundation of hormonal health, and you can get started with that right now by downloading my free guide, The Menopausal Woman's Roadmap. That's exactly what it's for, and it will be followed by an invitation from me to an online class on the same topic that's also free to really get you started on this at home. I also want to mention here that it can take a little time for these solutions to start to work, and it's not necessary to put your sex life on hold while you're waiting for these to kick in. In fact, embracing and enjoying your sexuality now will stimulate your brain in ways that will absolutely enhance your natural lubrication. So don't forget about sex without intercourse, okay? And now, if you're just tuning in, this is the 3rd video in a series I'm doing on having a great sex life after 50. To watch the whole video series with the transcripts and the downloads, the extra notes, links, and more, be sure to check it out on my blog. The link is in the comments below. In the first video, we covered what is vaginal dryness, what are the symptoms of it, and how to treat causes of vaginal dryness, not including low estrogen. So how to treat the non-estrogenic causes of vaginal dryness. In the second video, we covered how to boost your estrogen naturally during and after menopause with diet, lifestyle, and supplements, because low estrogen is the #1 cause of vaginal dryness for most women. In this video, we talked all about what you can do externally to combat vaginal dryness. So the best and worst lubes, moisturizers, and topical hormones, and the ingredients you most want to avoid using so that you don't disrupt your natural lubrication or the delicate pH or balance of beneficial bacteria in your vaginal area. So how to take care of your most delicate tissues topically. In the next fourth video, I have a super special treat. Clinical sexologist Jane Steckbeck is joining us to share her vast experience, her best tips, and to answer your questions. And the last video in this series is on increasing libido, a topic close to my heart as a tonic herbalist. So stay tuned and be sure to download your free copy of my Menopausal Woman's Roadmap right now to get started on the most important first step of your journey to hormonal health naturally. I'm Dana LaVoie, acupuncturist, herbalist, and founder of Menopause Basics. Thank you so much for watching today and spending your valuable time with me. It means a huge amount to me, and I'm always checking the comments below. And please be sure, once you grab your free roadmap, to share this video with a friend. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now, and thanks for watching.